Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk about the power of your habits to make you a success or to make you a failure. And I want to be clear that I'm lumping being average and normal and mediocre in the failure category because it's not what most people want. Most people, even if they're like everyone else, they're quote unquote normal. That's not where they want to be. No one strives for mediocrity. Now, many of them get that, but it's because of habits. And I want to show you how so often people have not even challenged a single habit they have. They don't even recognize their habits. That's how invasive some of these things are. And they've just been accepted blindly with no even the least bit of consideration going to, should I do this or not? And I'll give you an example. Most people eat at least 3 meals a day. They eat breakfast every morning. They have old sayings that say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And you ask these people, why do you do that? They don't even know. It's just something they've done their entire lives. They've never questioned it, never challenged it, and so they just do it. Meanwhile, numerous people like me, and I've done this for a long time, but way before I knew about intermittent fasting or something, I just didn't feel like eating in the morning, so I didn't eat. And I normally eat in the evenings. So I don't eat all day, and I've had people say, well, I don't understand, it's 3 p.m. How can you have not eaten anything all day? Don't you feel tired? Don't you feel run down? It's like, no, I have more energy than ever. But see, these people have trained themselves that they need 3 meals a day, plus a bunch of snacks throughout the day. So they're eating 5, 6, maybe up to 10 times a day. They've trained their bodies that they need that. Meanwhile, I've trained my body, I don't need that. I've even had people who are diabetics said, oh, I just can't fast. You don't understand, I'm a diabetic. And of course I do understand because I know people in my family who are diabetics. But then they had a medical procedure and magically they were able to fast for a day. For a 24-hour period where they said they couldn't. They said, oh, I just get low all the time. I'd probably go into diabetic shock. Didn't happen. They were able to fast the entire day without eating anything, and they're diabetics, insulin-dependent diabetics. So the point is that these people just taught themselves that they couldn't do something that's a good spiritual practice to fast, but they couldn't do it at all because, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Leaning to an excuse, never questioning or challenging the belief, and then when they were forced into doing the thing they said they couldn't do, they did it fine. Of course, they didn't like it, they were hungry, but they did it without any kind of bad effects or anything. Now, my point is not to tell you to fast. My point is not to tell you to do intermittent fasting or anything like that. My point is just that there are things people do each and every day that they've never, ever challenged. They have habits that have been enforced upon them when they were children by either being taught to do things a certain way or by observing adults doing things a certain way and copying that. And no one's ever challenged it. They've never challenged it in their own lives. Is this what I need to be doing? Is this best for me? You know, you look around the country and I can tell you intermittent fasting would be so much better for most people because the vast majority of people in the United States and all over the world now are overweight. They wouldn't be that way if they weren't eating the vast majority of their waking hours. Now, I don't want to get sidetracked into that anymore, but that is something you need to consider. But just look at your life, the things you do, the time you wake up in the morning. Why do you do that? Is this something you haven't challenged? What do you do on the weekends? Do you take breaks? Do you have a certain habit where you sleep in on the weekends? Where you start shrinking back? You start losing momentum? What are you doing? Why are you doing these things? Really ask yourself, how long do you sleep each day? This is something to ask yourself and to examine. How much time do you really need asleep each night? Many people just told themselves, I need 9 hours of sleep, but they do fine on 7 hours. They're wasting 2 hours of their day sleeping that they don't even need just because they've told themselves, I have to have 9 hours. I know I just can't get through the day if I don't have my 9 hours of sleep. Really? And some of this stuff trails into other things because maybe you need more sleep because you don't exercise. And now I know that's counterintuitive for people who don't exercise and don't do anything. They're just lazy. But the reality is when you exercise, your body gets healthier and you need less sleep often. It's very counterintuitive in many ways, but it's true. It's a reality. I very often sleep 4 hours a night. No problem. I'm full of energy. I'm not sleeping in the middle of the day. I'm not tired. I'm not worn out. I don't need all the caffeine and stuff. I don't even drink caffeine or take any kind of caffeinated items into my body because it's not good for me. So why would I do that? And yet I know other people, they get their 9 hours of sleep a night. They don't exercise at all. And yet they need 3 or 4 cups of coffee just to wake up in the morning. Something's seriously wrong there. And you need to examine yourself and examine your habits. Why do you have this habit of needing coffee to get your day going, or needing energy drinks or something with caffeine or something just to pep you up? Why can't you just wake up and have energy? These are things to examine yourself in your business. What are the things you're doing each and every day that you kind of get in a rut? Why do you go to work a certain way? Why do you start this task in your business first each day? Maybe you should try doing something else. Maybe you do that other thing at a later part of the day. These are just things you need to examine. Very often people will put off meetings and things that they don't want to do at the very end of the day. So they make their entire day spent dreading this thing they got to do at the end of the day, instead of just doing it right first thing in the morning, getting it done and out of your way. But these are habits people have done, coping habits, where they, well, I don't want to deal with that. So they keep putting it off to the very last moment, and then they do it. Well, a better habit would be to do those things you don't want to do first. Just get them out of the way completely and move on with your day in peace and joy and happiness. But so often in life, people's results they're getting in life are a direct result of their habits. Even when people start pointing to, well, this is why I'm not having success, or this is a bad thing that happened over here, this circumstance over here, they blame all these outside circumstances. But even that, those outside circumstances are often a direct result of the habits they have in place. Okay, you got in a car wreck going to work this morning. Okay. Now you can say it's not my fault, and I understand that. That's perfectly reasonable. But, and this is important, because this is not about fault or blame. This is about taking responsibility for your life so you can get the best results in life. You can't get the best results in life as long as you're blaming someone else. So if you get in a car wreck this morning and you're running late, do you see where you are the direct cause of that? Yes, the other person's at fault, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But if you were not running late, if you had a habit in place that got you to where you need to go on time, and you were early, you wouldn't have been in the position to be in that place where that lone driver who made the mistake and wrecked into you couldn't have wrecked into you because you wouldn't have been there. You would have already been at the place you need to be instead of being late. So even the circumstances that people think are against them or somehow external to them are a direct result of the habits that we have in place that have caused us to either get good results or bad results. And I would classify the average and normal and mediocre results as bad results because it's not what most people strive for. It's the bare minimum. It's just doing enough. It's just getting by. And it's not what people want to live their lives like. They want to be successful and happy and healthy. But very often they have habits in place that prevent them from doing that, and they've never examined them. So my encouragement to you today is to examine yourself, to examine your habits, to look at what you do each and every day. And when you do something, and maybe you see it's not working out the best for you, examine, why am I doing this in the first place? Is there a better way I could do this? Is there a different way I could do this that would get me better results? And really be honest with yourself and start examining the things that you're doing each and every day that are just this rut and this routine that you've gotten in that maybe are not bringing you the best results. And see what you can tweak, see what you can change, see what you can improve. Because as you change your habits and improve your habits, you're going to start getting better results. And my friend, that is one of the things that all the people I've known over the years who have been very successful, we've all done these basic things where we form good habits and we keep examining and changing our habits as it is required to keep getting the best results possible. And average and normal people, mediocre people, don't do that. They just get in these ruts, never challenging them, never changing anything unless they're forced into it. I want you to be the one that chooses, that takes responsibility for your life, takes responsibility for the way things are going in your life, and starts getting the best results possible because you've decided to set up and instill in yourself the best habits that will get the best results. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.